Thank you for joining another edition of Bumps and Thumps, the talk of wrestling. I'm your host, Brian Ferguson. My guest today is best known for his time in the American Wrestling Association. He has worked with many of the pro wrestling great talents of yesterday and is well known throughout the professional wrestling circuit. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to welcome Mr. Nacho Berrera. Nacho, thank you for taking time out of your schedule to be on Bumps and Thumps.
Oh, thank you, sir. I really appreciate it. It's my pleasure.
You know, I remember you as a kid on the AWA. You wrestled so many greats on TV. It felt like you were on there all the time. I remember you with so many Bockwinkel, Hogan, Jesse Ventura. I mean, there's the list goes on, and we'll get into that a little bit. But I wanted to first talk to you about where you grew up, your family life, and if you did any schooling or anything like that. If we could talk about that.
Yes, I grew up in Kerrville, Texas. That's by 60 miles from San Antonio.
Okay.
And we were there till about, when I was 14, we moved to Chicago.
Okay.
But I used to watch wrestling when I was like 7, 8 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And we used to watch Joe Blanchard and from San Antonio. They used to see that. We used to see the shows from San Antonio on TV every Saturday. And I got into it. I just liked it. And after that, when I came to Chicago, I started going to the wrestling shows for Bruiser and all those back in the 70s.
Yeah.
And I started going to some training school. Some Blackie Guzman had some other guys had some gym.
Mm-hmm.
And we started working out there. And after that, we just doing little independent shows.
Mm-hmm.
And then he told me if I want to go to Minnesota, I worked for the AWA. That was back in '71.
Mm-hmm.
So I told him, sure, I like to go up there. So we went up there, and that's when I met Vern Gagne, and I started working for all the guys there. Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Growing up in Chicago, what was that like, especially in the 70s? What was that like for you? Was it challenging? Were you in a good neighborhood, or were you?
No, I used to live up in 18 in Blue Island there. That was a pretty bad area at that time.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that. I want to go back to my hometown, but I was too young and we couldn't go nowhere.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, I understand that. Do you have any brothers or sisters, or?
Yes, sir. I got we were like 12 in the family. Uh-huh.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, my older brother, they passed away a few years ago, and
I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you. And two of my brothers passed away a couple of years ago too. It's only me and my other brother that's still. He lives up in Ohio.
Okay.
And I got like 4 or 5 sisters left too. Uh-huh.
Wow, that's amazing. Schooling? Did you go to, besides high school? Did you do any college, or?
I just went to high school.
Okay. Okay.
I never went to college or nothing like that.
Okay. So you tell us a little bit about going into pro wrestling. Wrestling for Vern. What was that like for you? As far as, working for him, traveling, what was that like for you?
It was very excitement. I enjoyed working for him because I always watched him on TV and stuff. When I went up there, I looked at all the big guys, and I couldn't believe I was working with them. It was a big surprise, and I really enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I've heard things about AW. I heard they paid well. Did they pay you good? You were there quite a few years, so I'm assuming they did.
Yes, sir. When we started, they used to give us like $75 for a TV tape.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And $175 for gas. Whoever drove up there had a check for $175.
Okay. Wow.
And we had discounts in the hotels and stuff. And I went to a couple of more promoters in like San Antonio, Indiana, Ohio, but their TV tapes it was like $25, so they never topped it. It was real low.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Did you ever work for WWE or NWA or anything like that?
I never did. I never went up. I talked to Vince McMahon when he started, and he had too many guys. But he told me just keep in touch, and I'll see what I can do. But I got too many guys already, and he had all the months booked up already. So I never went back again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow, that's so. So some of the big events you worked at. Did you ever? I watched some of your tapes this morning on YouTube. But
Uh-huh.
were you on? Were you at Wrestle Rock, Super Clash, any of those events? And if you were, who did you wrestle? And
No, I don't think I was. Uh-huh.
okay, no, all
We
right,
did a lot of house shows up in Minnesota,
yeah,
Wisconsin, and Indiana for Vern, but
yeah.
not like those. Uh-huh.
What was it like? So some of the wrestlers you wrestled, who do you think in your mind did you have the best chemistry with as far as in the ring?
I think Nick Bobwinkle.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, and Billy Graham.
Okay. I've heard a lot of great things about Nick Bockwinkel, about how, in the ring, I just as a kid, I couldn't stand the guy when I was
Oh,
little. He was such a heel,
he was
but I've
mhm,
heard when, out of the ring, he was a gentleman, you
very
know,
gentleman.
and just treated everybody like, a good person and
Exactly.
yeah,
Yes. Uh-huh.
yeah.
And I worked him one time with him on TV, and when Bobby Heenan was fighting with the crowd, and I tried to wrestle Nick, and he told me, "I'm gonna give you an advice when we're wrestling like this. When
Mhm.
Bobby Heenan's talking to the crowd,
Oh,
just
wow.
sit there, you know.
Yeah.
Don't do nothing. They're not watching us, you know." So I said,
Oh,
"Oh, I said I really appreciate it, Nick." But he used to give
yeah,
me a lot of advice on that. Uh-huh.
yeah,
Very
yeah,
gentleman, very nice guy.
yeah. Is there anybody, I mean, I have to mention, is there anybody that you didn't care for to work with when you had to in the ring?
Yeah, like Shawn Michaels. I never liked him.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
no,
Uh-huh. No,
yeah, he was
he
kind
was
of
kind
a,
of cocky, you know. Mhm.
yeah, at the time. Yeah, I can
Yeah, when he
understand that.
started. And I think that's about it. Most of all the guys were real nice guys.
Yeah, Shawn
Mhm.
Michaals. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
He had some issues in the past. I've heard that as well. How about
Yes.
working with Greg? I mean, I know he's Vern's son, and I interviewed Greg before, and uh, he talked about how you guys, the guys that were on almost every week, really, made a name for yourselves and made them what they were. I mean, what was it like working with those guys? And I did you ever win any matches?
No, not on TV. No.
Not on TV. What was it like for that? I mean, that kind of had to be hard on you, not even being able to win.
Yes, because all the people when they used to you walk the street, they used to tell you, "Oh, yeah, there's a guy. He always loses on TV." And even your friends and even my son Nick, when he was in school, he used to have fights because they tell your dad was a loser or stuff like that. You
Oh
know.
man.
Yeah, but that was I don't know. Just you get over it. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you sound like you made good money and you made a lot of good friends out of it, but
Uh huh.
I would, me personally, I'd have a hard time
Yes, I
losing all the time. Even
all
and
that.
yeah, I mean, you wrestled a lot of guys. I saw you
Uh
this
huh.
morning wrestling the Road Warriors.
Oh, that was a rough match. Uh-huh.
Yeah, that looked rough. I've heard those guys were pretty rough.
Yeah, they were green when they came. Nobody wanted to go out to Minneapolis because they knew they were out there, and nobody wanted to work with them because they were pretty stiff. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And we
Uh,
worked twice. We worked twice with them, and it was pretty hard.
yeah. I've heard
Uh-huh.
that they were pretty stiff up there.
Yes, sir. Uh-huh. They were.
Uh, you wrestled Ken Patera.
Oh, Kenny was one of the greatest guys too. Uh-huh.
I interviewed him.
Real gentleman.
Yeah, I interviewed him a few months back, and well, nice guy,
Yes. Uh-huh.
and is a good person. And you wrestled Hogan a few
Oh, a lot of
times.
times. Yes, we traveled together to Rockford, Milwaukee, Green Bay stuff. I used to drive them.
Yeah. Well,
Him
is
and
it
Santana.
good guys, I'm assuming.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I saw you wrestle. I mean, a lot of guys, and it's amazing that, you know, I looked at you as a kid, and I remembered you, and I just remember, you like Tom Rocky Stone,
Oh,
yourself,
yes. Uh-huh.
Kenny J, the
Kenny
Sod
J.
Buster.
That's right.
You know, you guys don't get enough credit for what you did, and
No,
and
right.
you really don't. You really don't,
No,
and,
we
and
don't. Uh-huh.
it's that's why I try to reach out I just started this podcast a year ago, and
Okay.
I try to reach
Ah,
out to people that I can, reach out to. Sometimes it's hard, sometimes I
I
can't.
see.
Some of those
Hmm.
guys you can't. They're off the grid. They
Right,
they
right. Uh-huh.
don't have any type of social media or anything, and
Not
it's
like
tough.
that. I hear you.
Yeah. So all
Uh-huh.
right. So did you have any real life heat with anybody that you worked with?
No, not really. No.
Okay. I know
Hmm.
some guys had some off-screen issues with
Yeah.
some guys, but
Uh-huh.
and some guys don't. I didn't know if you maybe did or not. So
No, I never did. I was had a never had no problem with nobody. Uh-huh.
that's
Yeah,
good.
they hurt you a couple of times, because that's what it is. You get hurt sometimes.
Yeah. If you
A
get
lot of
hurt.
guys from I met a lot of guys that they went to Minneapolis, and when it was like a kill match, so they never went back again.
Yeah. Wow.
They don't let you work, or nothing.
Yeah.
You just gotta do what they tell you. And
Yeah.
mhm.
Wow. So traveling experience. Let's talk about it. Who's a person? Can you give us a story of maybe somebody you traveled with that really stood out to you in your travel experience, and kind of a story? Maybe I know a lot of guys talk when they're
Mhm.
traveling from one town to another, and they get to be good friends. And is there any maybe a story you could tell us, a funny one or a good one or something that you really stood out to you when you were traveling?
Mhm. No, not really. I just not that I remember.
Yeah. Okay.
But we just
We
a lot of most of the guys, they were just when we used to travel, they were just taking a nap and stuff. And, yeah,
yeah.
they were tired. And yeah, one time
Yeah.
we were going up to Rockford, and I had an old car, and I had Black Jack Lanza, Steve Ochonovsky, Bobby Heenan, and then my window on the right side it didn't close all the way up there. And it started raining, and the water started coming in, started hitting Bobby Heenan on the face. And he said, Nacho, I just took a shower. I don't want another shower. So he had to put his towel on the thing there, because he was getting all wet from there.
Yeah. That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's And then
Yeah.
one time, with me, Hogan, my brother, and Gene Okerlund, we got out of the roast plant, and then we were like, I was supposed to get to the hotel, and up in by the roast plant, there's a lot of woods up there.
Hmm.
We got lost, and we're driving for an hour all through the woods and stuff. And the Gene Okerlund started getting all nervous. He said, "Nash, I think the touring is over. Just take us to the hotel." I said, "I'm trying to find it." As I try
Oh,
to find, I can't find it. So we finally got it, and I took it to the hotel. But stuff like that. Mhm.
yeah. Wow, that's pretty neat. Yeah, that's amazing. So I
Mhm.
also read in your I was doing a little research on you that you received a lifetime achievement award from Midwest Wrestling a few years ago.
Oh, yes, sir. I did. Uh-huh.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about what was that like? I mean, did they have a banquet? Did they have a
Yes, they did. They had a banquet there. Uh-huh. Mhm.
I mean,
It was all the old guys were there. A couple of guys there.
yeah.
Sonny Rogers was there, and
Okay.
but we had a good time. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Was that were you surprised when
Oh,
you
yes,
were
I was. Uh-huh.
yeah.
And then I got one from the POWW.
Okay.
I got one of those there, and one for the Mexican up in Waukegan. I got another one there, from the Latin American Wrestling Association.
Okay. Did you ever work down in the in Mexico and in
No, I
those
never.
circuits
I
down there?
never went.
No.
I never went up there, but I knew all of the guys because my brother-in-law, before he was my brother, he's run Mexican lucha libre wrestling here in Chicago
Okay.
back in '69 or '70.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I think he was the first Hispanic guy that brought wrestling from Mexico over here.
Oh wow.
And he
Okay.
and he brought Santo, Blue Demon, all the big names from Mexico. And I was like 16 years old. I used to carry him, pick him up at the airport, take him to the
Yeah.
hotel and stuff like that. So I met all those guys there, but I worked them was on back like in the '80s, '90s, but they was up in Chicago, Gary, Indiana, and stuff like that,
Yeah.
but
Oh,
not in
wow.
Mexico.
So you basically worked around in the Midwest.
Oh,
And
yes,
okay.
yes, Ohio, Windsor,
Yeah.
Canada, and stuff, Michigan, all over.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite place that you like to go to to wrestle? Was there a favorite town or a favorite arena?
No, not really. I
No.
guess everywhere you go, you find great fans.
Yeah.
I really enjoy the fans because
Yeah.
they're something else.
They are. They are indeed. They're a unique bunch of people, no doubt about it.
Yeah, I really love them.
So, you wrestled back in the 70s and 80s.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Do you watch any wrestling today?
Uh, Not only the ones every now and then I do, but I don't
Yeah.
watch the WWE no more.
Yeah. Yeah. So, your opinion versus when you worked it to today, what's your idea or concept of it now?
Well, it's the wrestling is more faster than before.
Okay.
They're wrestling more fast, and then each guy gets like half and half. So the match looks good because everybody's every guy's doing something, and they're not. It's not like a kill match or nothing like that.
Yeah.
And they're both guys look good, but in my time, we didn't have a chance like that. We just go in there and then you work a little bit, and that was it. They didn't give you too much, and they'll stop you.
Yeah.
But that's a bit of a difference from those days to these days now. Uh-huh.
Do you think it's more I've heard from other wrestlers that it's more they don't do the build up like they used to
No, no, they don't.
of
Uh-huh.
matches, and
Right, no. Hmm.
they have because they have a pay-per-view once a month now, and
Uh-huh.
WWE does, and
Right.
there's really not much of a build up
Uh-huh.
of two people clashing or a tag team, whatever. And I know back in your day, they did it months. They
Before the
had a
match,
big
yes.
show maybe every
Hmm.
3 months,
Right.
and they would build those guys up on TV with guys like you,
Uh-huh.
that would make them look good.
There you go. You got that right.
And to me now, it seems like they don't have your guys on TV anymore. It's all there's no dark matches. There's no
No,
guys that are up and coming.
exactly.
Getting
Hmm.
beat up, not beat up, but wrestling the well knowns and kind of getting their name out there a little bit. I mean,
Uh-huh.
it seems like now, I mean, to me at least, that they have to. You got to be a main eventer to even be on
I
TV.
agree. I agree with you. That's right. Uh-huh.
And it's too bad because it's a lost art to me. Like guys like yourselves that are a well-known name,
Uh-huh.
that made a name for themselves because you were on every week, or most of the time wrestling a big name. Yes, you lost,
Yes,
but
sir.
you are well known, and and,
Uh-huh.
and
Oh, thank you.
yeah, yeah, of course, and it's just a lost art, and I just
Yes, sir. I agree with you.
yeah.
Hmm.
So, well, let's talk. Are you working on any projects right now that
No, not right now, sir. No.
no, just enjoying the good life, right?
Well, I guess that's you could call it.
And you said you live in Chicago, is that correct?
No, I moved to Indiana. I'm by
I'm,
Lake Station.
oh, okay. All right, great.
Yeah, I've been here for 16 years. Uh-huh.
Okay, wow. Well, that's great. So
Well,
is
me
it
and my
what
wife. Uh-huh.
okay. Are you retired or fully retired, or you
Yeah,
just
I'm retired already. Uh-huh.
okay? Do you do any type of like those conventions or anything like that? Have you
Uh, no, not exactly, but
no?
they invited me to wrestling shows, and I usually go up to the independent shows here,
Okay.
like the AEW. I think they run here in Gary or in Lake Station.
Okay.
I usually stop by and check out the guys.
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
enjoy watching the independent guys. They do a hell of a job.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Those
They're
up
on
and
that new guys.
comers. I mean, I
Hmm.
try to go to these independent. I live in Missouri. I try to go to some of the
Oh, okay.
independent shows. Yeah, I
Uh-huh.
live near Springfield, Missouri, so
I see. Okay.
I try to. There's a Harley Race before he passed had
Uh-huh.
a wrestling called World League Wrestling up in by St. Louis.
Nice. Yeah, I worked for Harley couple
Yeah,
times up in St.
great
Louis.
guy, great
Yeah,
guy.
real nice guy. I met him.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he
Yep.
is a nice man. He was a nice man. So
Yes.
I, yeah, I try to go to those shows and check them out. And who knows, you might see one of them someday in AEW or WWE, or
you never know.
you never know, you know. So
Exactly.
yeah. All right. Well, hey, Nacho, I appreciate you coming on here today,
Awesome. My
and
pleasure. I really
and
appreciate it.
I appreciate your time, and I want to thank everybody that's listening. Ladies and gentlemen, so Nacho Berrera, one of the AWA greats from the 70s and 80s. Thank you, sir, for your time. And everyone, get out there and get to those wrestling matches. And
Thank
we
you,
will
sir.
talk. All right. Thank you. And we will talk to you soon.